So 290, there's a prereq of 121, which is that 2D course, that foundational course. 292 is a digital design 2, so that's where students learn more about, so the 290 would cover like basic Illustrator, using the Illustrator as a basic design software. And 292 involves more multi-page documents, package design, that kind of thing. So really developing a full range of design skills. 291 is our digital imaging course, so Photoshop and image making. But digital 290 and 292 are meant to be taken as a sequence. 291 can be taken at any point, but then you need that 121 in 2D design to start with. So that would be, obviously in the first few semesters, you'd take those courses. Intro to video can be slotted in anywhere. I know in the pathways, so in this document, which is contained within the website, the pathways, the video is here in the courses, like the last semester. That doesn't need to be there. I mean, it can be taken in the first or second semester as well. So, and in fact, I think the earlier the better, because learning to edit video and video editing is going to help them with their animation courses as they come and make more kind of complex experiences, and they're designing shots and things like that. If they have that knowledge at the outset, that actually makes more sense as a sequence. And then digital animation, 291, there's digital imaging as a requirement, as a core requirement for that. And then motion graphics, there is a prereq of 290 as well. So that'll be taken later on in the sequence. And that is about it. That's all I wanted to cover. Are there any questions, or is that fairly clear for the advisors, or any problems you're seeing from the student end that I can answer? Any questions that they're having or you're having?
Go ahead, Vicky.
Sorry, just a quick question. You had stated for 290, you said prereq was arts, 121 on here it says co-rec. I just want to ensure that I have this correct. Is it the co-rec?
Yeah, everything's yeah, exactly. Okay. The only prereqs are 292. So that being 290 to 292, so 1 and 2 being taken co-rec. And then the motion graphics has an arts 290 prereq as well. Okay. So because they'll need some of those software skills to advance into like the more advanced animation software. So that's why that's there. But everything is a co-rec except for video.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Also, Professor Sullivan, I wanted to know if who's the best point of contact when it comes to any kind of issues regarding the degree audit, course substitutions, whatever. Should that just be,
course substitutions, our chair, Kathy Wentrack, would handle that. I can answer questions specific to our digital program. I'm always available to do that, especially with advisement. I do a lot of ASAP work with students and getting them into portfolio development and into like the 4-year college experience. So I can answer curricular questions, and then Kathy is probably the best one to talk to substitution. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But we do a lot of substitutions. A lot of our students, like, they've come to me and, really whinged about like the science credit, for example. And, so I've had, students take other, and then, I know that there's a transition period of like from the old pathway we had to like the new one. So we've done.
Yeah, there'll be some students in the old curriculum that maybe have readmitted. Also the same thing with the math, because you have the math 321. There's students that might have taken 119 or even 440, and maybe they wanted to do a curriculum change. So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I have a student hasn't been back here like 10 years, but he came back. So this semester.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, he's definitely on the old. He has some credits from the old way of doing things. So yeah, it's totally fine though. But Kathy is the best point person for that.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Any other questions from anyone? Okay. Great. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Will.
Thank you so much. Okay. If you can always email Professor Sullivan if you guys have any questions. You know, and you can always contact the art department, or you can reach out to me being the VAPA lead. So that's also a plus too. All right.
I just
Have a
wanted to
great-
mention one thing before
Sure.
before we sign off. CUNY has had several kind of like industry kind of incubator things that are related to digital art that I think our students should be aware of. Like I know a lot of advisement at the advisement level, students come in and they say, well, I like video games. And of course, I mean, every kid that's like under 25 loves video games, right?
Right. Right.
But you know, specifically like design careers are really rapidly developing in motion graphics and in animation and in so having those skills, After Effects, Premiere, like the things that we're emphasizing at the back end of our, or the back end of our experience, are a lot of our students are doing really well in these incubator programs that are CUNY wide, that are connected to industry. So something to be aware of, like say, hey, you love video games, but there's lots of ways to make things move and make things interesting, and a lot of jobs attached to it. But not to dissuade anyone from the video game industry, but I know that everybody wants to get into that one. So
I usually tell students that it's a good starting point for them, you know, because some of them might be specific as far as, you know, they want to just design video games, like you said. But again, you need to have some kind of artistic ability to do that. So it's always a good start.
Our degree is still the best match to prepare students for that career. And likewise, if they're into like anime, which is also another huge core interest of our students, they all have their favorite, little corner of the anime world they're into. Again, that's like, if they want to make things like that or work within that system, and we're still preparing them to make art and then to make digital art as well. So
okay, great. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one. Next up, we have Dr. Bonshali, Panita Bonshali.
Hi.
Hi.
All right, I'm gonna.
You want to share the screen? You can go ahead and share.
Yeah. Oh, no, wrong thing. Sorry. Okay, so everyone can see the screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so today, hi everyone. Thanks so much for allowing us to speak today about our respective programs. It's good to see a lot of you, and I hope your semesters are all going well. So I'll be talking about the medical assistant program as well as the medical office assistant certificate. And just to clarify, in case you're not aware of this, we have this these are two related programs. The medical office assistant certificate program is a 1-year program for those that are interested in doing more, for those students who are interested in doing more administrative work. And, that is a part of the medical assistant degree program, which is an AAS program. And so this is for students who want to do both clinical and administrative training. So let's say a student is in the medical office assistant certificate program and they decide, I actually want to do the rest of this program. They can go ahead and continue on to the medical assistant degree program. We do, of course, encourage students to directly do the degree program in the first place. Of course, we want them to have that degree, and getting those clinical skills will really help them in the workplace, even if they end up just doing a more administrative position. So here is the curriculum. As you can see, this program is a marriage between the biology department and the business department. So they're taking several classes through our department, the biology. That's where they're getting more of the clinical training. And then the business department hosts a lot of the courses as well. So I'll talk a little bit more about some issues we've been running into, and hopefully we can solve these in the next few semesters. And as you can see here, there is also internship requirements, which I will talk about as well. And then they have to complete 5 credits of electives from a list of electives. So, I just wanted to emphasize certain important things so that we can avoid different course enrollment issues. So I always tell everyone that we really highly recommend that students take BI 111 and BI 520 in the first and second semesters. And this is particularly important. So, we always encourage, of course, everyone to use the degree plans on the website, but I really want to emphasize these two because these two are prerequisites and part of a sequence of several other courses in the biology department. So if they, and they really just need to have that. BA 111 is human biology. They really need to have that human biology background to go ahead and, participate and engage in those classes that, follow afterwards. And then I wanted to mention about, just in general, if a student can't get into one of these courses, like let's say they can't get into BI 111 or BI 520, definitely let me know. And I will try to help the student and work something out, and talk to the instructors, or maybe, sometimes in some cases we even will open a new section. So just let me know. And then I also just wanted to mention, so these 4 classes, BI 340, BI 341, 451, and 452 are the core clinical courses. So this is where they get a lot of that hands-on clinical training. So we have noticed in the last few semesters, there's been a lot of conflicts with these courses and some of the business department courses. So this coming semester, I'm making sure that each of these has a morning section as well, because the business department courses in this major tend to run late afternoon, evening, which is why all the conflicts are happening. So I'm going to try to do more morning sections of these courses. But I want to mention, because a lot of students have reached out to me asking if we'll have these courses online, and we just can't have these courses online because there's just, they're learning hands-on clinical skills. So the only reason we did it online, for that year and a half was obviously because we had no choice. We were in a very, unique set of circumstances, but moving forward, we definitely have to do these courses in person. So it's not like next semester we're going to offer it online. And I'm only mentioning this because many students have asked me about this. And the other thing I just wanted to talk about a little bit is internships. So, I know this is pretty confusing, so I just wanted to clarify. So what we do is we offer an option for students, so they can either do business internships, or they can do the phlebotomy internship along with field experience in medical assisting and CPR. So BU 600 is 3 credits. It's a business internship run by the business department. And then these options are it's a combination of a phlebotomy internship, a general medical assistant internship, and CPR. So this has been, of course, a little trickier during the pandemic. BU 600 hasn't been running since, for 2 years now due to the pandemic. So the business department is allowing SIS 101 as a substitution. So that is definitely one option for students. If a student doesn't want to do that kind of hands-on clinical work, this is a good option. However, if a student does want to do hands-on clinical work, then of course we highly recommend that they take this track, which is the phlebotomy plus field experience in medical assisting plus CPR. And then I'm going to even add just another part that we've been doing, more recently since BU 600 hasn't been running. Let's say a student wants to get hands-on clinical experience, but they specifically don't want to do phlebotomy because realistically, that's not for everyone. And that, that does scare some students, but those same students, they still want to do other hands-on clinical work. There is an option where we can substitute BI 961 with BI 951. So that's just another credit of medical assistant internship. And so it allows students to do a general medical assistant internship without having to do the phlebotomy. And there is a subset of the student population who wants to do that. So, we can allow that. And then I do want to mention, because students are often confused about this, in order to pass the phlebotomy internship course, BI 961, students have to pass the certification exam for that particular course. It's a nationally recognized certification exam. So it is great. It's a wonderful credential, But, students should know that coming in. So, we always try to spread the word so that they're not surprised. And then, the additional medical assistant credits like 951, 952 can be used towards electives. So we do recommend that students do more than just 950 for their internship. They do more hours and they can get elective credit for those additional hours. But at the minimum, they have to do that 45 hours of field experience in medical assisting if they choose that second track. And then, this is just, something that we like to advertise and market as a huge plus to this program. There's a lot of certification opportunities that we offer through this program. And for people that work in healthcare, certifications are very important credentials. They're tangible things that they can put on their resume. And these are nationally recognized certifications. So we offer the NHA certification in phlebotomy technician. So that is connected to the phlebotomy internship course. We offer the NHA certification in EKG technician for students who are enrolled in the EKG course. And then once students graduate, we allow them to take the certification in clinical medical assistant. With all of these, we pay for study materials, practice exams, and certification fees. And we even, right now, as of now, we're holding peer mentored review sessions for phlebotomy and clinical medical assistant. And then we're also going to hold them in the future for EKG. So we're kind of making it like, a guided process so that we can increase passing rates. But this has been something that's been very exciting for us. And then we also are providing a number of other workshops to help students with their performance and success, both in the classroom and outside the classroom. So, here's my contact information. We also have a student success advocate for this program. So she is there to help support students in the various things that they need, whether it's like sending them to the correct resources or talking to them about, which career track they should take, or helping them with these certification exams. She's been there for the students, and all the students who have worked with her have had a very positive experience. And I just want to mention again that if there are any issues that you come across, since you advisors are the ones who communicate and are in contact with the students the most, the student issues, and that the barriers that they face for each program. So please let me know any issues, even if you think that there's nothing I can do about it. I can try, and we can always, we do try to be flexible with the program so that we can get, students into the classes that they need and to graduate, So thank you guys so much again. And of course, I'll take any questions, and I hope that everyone is healthy and sane during this time.
Any questions? Okay.
You can always
All right.
email me as well.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Well, listen, thank you very much. And we appreciate your time as always. And good to know about the student success advocate, because if you're not around, we have someone else that we can reach out to.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and she's not only very responsive, but she's a very kind, compassionate person. She's also always willing to do whatever it takes to help the students. So definitely reach out to her.
Great.
Okay, great. Bye, everyone.
Okay, next is Professor Franca Ferrari.
Hi, good afternoon, good afternoon, everybody. And Will, can you please share the link of the webpage that I sent you this morning?
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I have to pull it up. I was having a little bit of trouble. Hang on, here we go. Okay.
So I'm here to introduce the courses that we teach in the communication studies concentrations. All our courses are part of Pathways, inside the different pathways groups. And except for one that is a remediation course for students in the nursing programs. The courses that, okay, I keep, so we have SP 101. This is our introductory course in communication. Is part of the individual society group. And in this course, students learn the basics, dynamics of communication, the different aspects of communication, and also they deliver a speech at the end. So this course is good for students, maybe second language learner students, that they have to take also speech to 11, but they could take 101 first and then to 11, because students who took 101 and then took to 11, they had a lot of success in 211 because they already knew the fundamentals on how to write a speech. Then we have SP 211. This is public speaking. This is a course where we help students to write and then perform a speech. Then we have SP 212, interpersonal communication. In this course is also on pathway and is writing intensive. And in this course, students study the dynamics of one-to-one communication. So all the aspects that they are into a communication with another person. This course is also look at the communication between family members and also between a person and their employer. And it's a very good course for nursing students if they have elective, because it will help them really to understand the dynamics of one-to-one communication. And a great part of the course is dedicated to solving conflicts while communicating. SP 213, intercultural communication. This course is very popular and it looks at the dynamics of communicating one-to-one with people from different cultures. And it's like a survey of trying to understand first what cultures and identity means for the individual, and then how our culture and identity can interfere in a positive or negative way when we communicate with people of other cultures. And it's a very, I think this is the course that everybody should take, because not only students, but also staff members and professors, because this really teaches you, especially in an environment as a QCC, what are the things that you have to be aware of when you communicate with a person of another culture. Especially now that at QCC, the equity agenda is promoted. This course is really important given the demographic of our college. Then we have SP 214, communication in professional settings. This teaches students from different disciplines how to communicate, write a speech or a presentation and present materials that is related to their professional settings. So the class is organized in a way that nursing students, for instance, will look at how is professional communication in their field. Science students will look at professional communication in their fields, so that each student understand how to communicate professionally in what will be their field of works. Then we have SP 215, phonetics. Unfortunately, this course was offered in person last semester, so it could not run. But so we plan to offer it in a hybrid next semester. This course teaches how to understand, how to pronounce and also perceive all the sounds of all languages. It is based on English, obviously, so the phonetics of English will be studied in depth, but then there will be a comparison between the phonetics of English and the phonetics of students speaking other languages. So in this course, if you are a Spanish student, you will understand what are the features of your Spanish language, of your Spanish phonetics, that they come into your English phonetics when you are speaking English, and they cause a miscommunication problem. So students will first understand the phonetics of English and then compare the phonetics of their own language, so that they will be able to understand how to improve their English pronunciation at physiological level. This course is recommended. I recommend it for CLIP students. I don't know if we have some CLIP representative here, but we had a discussion with the CLIP I think directors and one of the deans, and the deans did not recommend this course for CLIP students because they are still not completely enrolled. But I will encourage CLIP students to take this course because it will really help them to understand from a scientific point of view the pronunciation of English. Now, this course is in the science group of courses in Pathway. So if you have students from other disciplines that they don't want to take a regular science, a classic science course, but they want a course that looks at language, this course can be adapted for them. Then also this course is recommended for students, people who want to study speech pathology, people who want to become teachers, and also students that are second language learners. Then we have 216, Introduction to Language Science and Linguistics. Also, this is a scientific course about the structure of language. And it's based on English, but English again will be compared with the structure of other languages. In this course, we study the phonetics, the morphology, the syntax, the semantics, and the pragmatic, and also of the language. So how to, in this course, students will understand why English has certain word orders, while English has certain morphological requirement, but more from a scientific point of view and in comparison with other languages. So this course is recommended for students who want to become teachers, students who want to become speech pathologists, and also second language learners students, and also students who want to study the science of language rather than the science of, rather than another science course. And 321, oral performance for actors and speakers, this course goes into depth on how to perform orally as a public speaker or as an actor. So these are all our courses. We hope to add 217, business communication, but at the moment we are still working on that. And I hope most of what I know, speech 211, 215, and 213 next semester will be offered in the HighFlex format. And that's it for me. If you have any question, let me know.
Question for you. If
Yes.
we have a new student who wants to follow a track in speech pathology, would you recommend that they go in the communication study concentration for liberal arts?
Yes, because we have a articulation agreement for speech pathology with Brooklyn College. So that will enable the students to transfer his credits from this program to the speech pathology programs at Brooklyn. And the courses that we have in the articulation agreements are phonetics and introduction to language sciences and linguistics. And then students can select another one, preferably interpersonal communication, but it could be also intercultural communication. But the two fundamental is 215 and 216. And I want to say, sorry, something about speech pathologists. The CDC recently lowered the number of words that each child should be able to perform at a certain age. And this change is due to the fact that in the last 2 years, little kids were wearing masks. And by wearing masks, kids cannot learn correctly all the phonetics of English or their own language, because kids learn by imitation. And when we all have masks, they cannot see us. So in the near future, there will be a lot of need for speech pathologists, because the number of children that will need help with their speech production will be increasing.
Okay. Jeff Ballerini has a question.
Yes.
Yes, hi. I was just curious to know whether when speech 216 would be offered. I know you mentioned 13 and 15 would be offered next fall, but is there any updates on SP 216?
No, all those courses in the list will be offered. And we have a new course, 217, that it's not on the list. We hope to offer it, business communication, in the fall, but we are in the approval process. But the course is ready, we need the approval. But 216, 215, all they will run, but 211, 213, and 215 will be iFlex.
Okay.
Okay, so iFlex, I don't know if, maybe surely you know, but iFlex is when I'm in class and students decide whether to come to class or to follow me from home through Zoom.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. All right. Well, as we always say, they can always email you, right, Professor Franca?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Is there an article? No, with Queen's College, sorry, we don't have an articulation at the moment.
Okay. Is that in the works? Have you guys been in communication with them?
Queen's College, it's very difficult to have articulation agreement with, and we didn't try yet. We focused more on other colleges, but it will come probably next year.
Okay. Thank you very much for your information, and we look forward to getting that info as well. Okay. All right. Next on the schedule, we have Professor Sarbani Ghoshal from Biotechnology.
Hi,
Welcome.
thank you so much.
You can share the screen if you have anything you'd like to present.
Yeah,
So-
sure. I'll do that. Thank you.
Okay.
Should I go ahead? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarbani Ghoshal, and I am an assistant professor in biological sciences and geology. And today I'm here to present our AS degree program in biotechnology. So this is a fun slide showing, all of us know this is the DNA, and we really, do a lot of things in biotechnology with this molecule of life, DNA. So I'm just going to walk you through some basic things and request you to help us increase the enrollment. So let me see. Why it is not. What is not. Okay. So biotechnology, when we meet students, most of the time I see that students have an idea that they can only go to research or medical field from biotechnology. But I just put up this slide to show you that think of about any discipline, and actually biotechnology has a lot to contribute. So whether somebody wants to work in a vaccine research or, developing some new drugs, in clinical research, medical science, or in public health, biochemistry, statistics, even somebody wanted to do a criminal justice program. So all these are important fields which are related to biotechnology. So our target students in biotechnology major does not have to be somebody who is actually, interested in doing research or pursue a very high degrees. Even with an associate or a bachelor's degree, students can find positions as technicians. So, sorry, I don't know what's going on. So let me tell you a little bit about the employment and career options in biotechnology, that despite being we are in the pandemic, actually the biotechnology industry has kept a very steady pace in the market. And we have a lot of jobs, especially, this New York, New Jersey area or the Boston area has a lot of small biotech companies who hire a lot of interns, students, or technicians, and thus there is always a job demand in biotechnology. And this number is a bit low, but there are projected like employment is about more than 7.5 million jobs in biotechnology in the various fields that I was discussing with you in the previous slide. Now, our AS in biotechnology program is designed in a way that they can lead to the BS in biotechnology in your college. So our students transfer seamlessly into the BS in biotechnology at York. But they can also transfer to Queen's College, City College, Stony Brook, but we have an articulation with York, so they transfer seamlessly. And some of the important highlights of this program is, despite being a community college, our biotechnology lab is so well equipped because of the faculty members involved here that we have very modern research instruments and equipments that students get to handle and get hands-on experience. So, and apart from this, throughout the summer, there are multiple internships which are available to the students, which are paid. Like we run this last one is the BioPrep summer paid internship, which is conducted over a 10-week period in Stony Brook University. And there are multiple grant opportunities like the NIH RIMS and CUNY Research Scholars Program. These students can get additional research mentorship and experiences. But we do have a class which is BI 554, which is a required class for our students, during which they work with an individual faculty member to gain the hands-on experience. So these are the main courses listed here. So you see here, the top one are the common core categories, and not much has changed actually. But most of the time, the students, the delay in these major requirements, I just want to emphasize that for most of these major requirements, the foundation or the prereq that is required is this BI 201 from the common core requirement. So once the students take the BI 201, they can try to take all these major requirement courses. And I told you about this BI 554 class when the students gain actually hands-on experience by working with an individual faculty member. So this is an independent research internship which is required for them. Apart from this, like the advanced classes like BI 453, which I teach myself, it has got a lecture and lab components. It is a 7 credit hour course. So this exposes the student to a lot of hands-on experience. And I keep on repeating this because that is very important. If somebody is majoring in biotechnology, then BI 356 is Principles of Genetics, which is another advanced course taught by Dr. Sarah Danzi, and BI 357 Bioinformatics class, which is also an honors class, which is taught by Dr. Peter Novick. And so these are the 60 credits which are required for this major. And we have 4 different curricular maps based on the math placement for the student, which can require them to complete the degree in a shorter time period. And then, this is some pictures that I have I'm presenting solely to tell you that, how our students are involved in hands-on experience. So if you have any student who wants to get hands-on experience, and there are many classes in the biotechnology program, which can also be taken as an elective by other students, because we really sometimes suffer from low enrollment in those classes. So they learn a lot, and they have been pretty successful. Like even during the pandemic last semester, I had a student in my class. She got an opportunity and moved to San Francisco to work in one of the startup companies as a technician. And she was telling me that she was gaining experience hands-on. So once they go into a small startup company, they can actually climb their way up even with an associate degree or a bachelor's degree. So our strengths in the program are basically, all this hands-on experience with research that the student get. They can transfer seamlessly to the York College. We offer multiple workshops. And we bring in eminent seminar speakers who tell our students how their career had been and how they moved on from community college to they are working in bigger positions, or even sometimes they are working as technicians in many small companies or research laboratories. Even 2 of our graduates from our program are working as technicians in our department. So the weakness is last 1 or 2 semesters we didn't face this, but we have to many time run many of our major courses as an independence class. So we seek your help to enroll more students in our program. And if you need any information, these are the main contact persons for our biotechnology program. Dr. Gadura is our chairperson, and she was the one who started this program. And Dr. Novik, Dr. Danzi, and myself, Dr. Ghoshal, we are always an email away. So if you have any question, please reach out to us. Thank you.
Any questions? Okay. Again, Dr. Ghoshal, I appreciate your time. And this, just to let everyone know, this meeting is being recorded and will be emailed out once I can compress the file at the end of the meeting. So, we'll have that available. And if we need any presentations or requests for information, will that be okay, Professor Ghoshal?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
We can move on to our next speaker, which is Department Chair Andrea Salas for Phys Ed and Health. Oh, wait, before we do that, Jeff, you have a question?
No, just expressing gratitude with the little applause icon.
Okay, thank you. All right. Dr. Salas?
I think we are going, it's not yet 12 probably.
That's true. She will come in for a few minutes. All right. Let's just take a breather for a few minutes. Have a sip of coffee, take a breath, and we'll wait for Dr. Salas to come on.
I have a question from Christina, that if I heard students employed by hospitals and clinics, so I would like to answer that. So yes, Christina, it is absolutely possible, because our students can also join summer internship programs from, like, NYU, many clinical labs or Sloan's Catering. And there are certain technologies which are very, very good for our biotechnology students to learn. One is histology. They get samples which they learn how to analyze. So that's basically in a clinical setting they can learn the best. And there are many doctors who, apart from practicing, they run research labs which are based on associated with their clinics and hospitals. So that's a good place to do summer internship, though it's not a necessary part, but we always encourage the students to acquire more skills.
While we're waiting, just wanted to give everyone a heads up as far as what departments are coming up. So we have health and phys ed. We're also going to have public health, engineering, technology, and music.
Hey, Will, how you doing?
Good. Do you have a question?
Probably too soon to tell, but just picking your brain, if you think there was a forecast in the, coming semesters of doing this, like the old days, as we call it, like in-person academy advisement training?
I think that's a great question.
Don't mean to put you on the spot. I'm just curious.
That's okay. I mean, we've been virtual literally 2 years now, and I think we'll have to look at that when we get to next semester, as far as people's comfort level. I think the virtual format has been really beneficial for everyone because it's flexible with everyone's different locations, whether they're remote, whether they're home, or in the office or on the road. It's been really beneficial. So we'll definitely have to review that down the road for sure.
Thanks. And remote advisement has been good for the same reasons, but I was, just curious because there seems to be this mentality of like bringing things back in person, and also I miss the coffee. Just kidding.
Hey, Andrew, thanks for your question. It's Mike here. I think it's not a far-fetched idea at all. When we were planning this one, things are still just really getting back to somewhat of a larger capacity on campus. But we also could think about ways we can do it as a hybrid sort of broadcast. And then if you're on campus, be there in person and maybe figure out a way to do that. That might be really accommodating so everyone can come in. So it's worth looking into for sure.
Thank you. That sounds really exciting.
I'll take a second too to just let everyone know. I know there, big questions are when's not advising, but registration open up? When does new student registration open up? I would share those dates if I had them, but we do not have them just yet. I know we're talking about it this week. Historically from the last, I guess, 3 March semester, spring semesters, around March was the time that we would, or the very end of March, first week of April is the time we normally would begin an open registration. Usually several special populations go first, and then a few days later, everyone goes. So we do not have those dates, but as soon as I have them, or if your directors in your area have them, we will share it. But we too are waiting on that information. I see Dr. Salas has arrived, so I will let this continue.
Thanks for the info, Mike. Welcome, Dr. Salas. How are you?
I'm well, Will. How are you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for joining us. We're a little ahead of schedule, so we were waiting for you. But,
oh my goodness.
No, it's okay. It was a few minutes, but this is a rare occasion that we're ahead of schedule, so I'll take it as a win.
Absolutely. And I'm here together with Dr. Srivastava from biology. So I will speak about the department activities, and then we can go right into the public health information as well.
Perfect.
So we know that we're gonna keep you going smooth sailing along. So
You're
great.
well. Thank you. Please proceed.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I'll just give you some updates in the department that are relevant to student advisement. As you know, this past fall 2022, fall 21, we began the AS in movement science, which is very much similar to exercise science degree program. And so far we have 17 students enrolled. So we're very excited about that at the launch of this program. And we are very much looking for more students to enroll. Concurrently, and this program is in the Health Related Science Academy, as you all very well know. And we do have an articulation agreement with your college. So students who complete the program with us can apply to transfer to your college, as well as there are many other baccalaureate degrees in movement science, exercise science, or if the student chooses to continue on in physical education, that's another opportunity for them. And while we have our new program launched, we are also seeking to submit a proposal to eliminate the liberal arts concentrations in personal training, physical education, and exercise science. Now, this needs to go through the governance process, and we've begun that process. And if this all takes place, it could be eliminated as early as the fall of 2022. What that will mean for students in those concentrations is that that they should be able to continue in the concentrations, or they can choose to enter into the movement science degree program. So it should not hold up any students from continuing, but we know that the movement science degree is a much greater opportunities for students who are interested in those fields. Also, we have we will continue to have the liberal arts concentration in nutrition. So that's another opportunity for students that has historically done very well, and will continue with that. There are tremendous opportunities for students to transfer in nutrition and health. So we'll keep that going. And you will hear more about massage therapy. You will hear about massage therapy tomorrow. Dr. Lazul will be presenting, so I will let her speak to the program, and is doing very well. Of course, it's in person. And
it's going to be on March 9th. I'm sorry, I didn't want it.
Okay. Oh, it's March 9th.
Next,
okay,
next.
so it's not back-to-back days, but you have it spread out till next week. Yes, thank you for clarifying.
The back-to-back days was a little too much for everyone, so we spread it out.
Smart thinking. It's a lot. It's like information overload sometimes, right? There's a lot to take in. So other classes to be aware of. So we do have a few more openings in the CPR, so the late starting classes, so students that are looking for additional credit. Those are in person this semester and will continue that way. So we want to allow them to, inform them of that we do have a few more openings as well. And in terms of offerings online and in person for the summer and fall, we plan to offer a combination of online and in-person classes for physical education, for health, and for dance. Of course, for dance program, also, any incoming students will be placed by our dance faculty. And our dance faculty are very involved, as you know, in sharing the advisement of the students. So please, always feel free to reach out to Emily Berry and Aviva Gizmar about any questions about dance or students. They are incredibly hands-on with their program. Okay. So that is the general gist of what I have for, with the exception of discussing public health. So I want to just, before we transition over to public health, I just wanted to know if there are any questions relating to my department that you might have at this time.
Do you think the changes with the concentrations in liberal arts, do you think that'll go through for next semester?
That is the possible, yes. So because it's a significant change, and so in addition to our local governance process and CUNY, because of this, it is a significant change. It will need to go through the state as well. So it's really a matter of their timeline, but certainly you will be informed. The registrar will be informed if and when this change takes place. But I just wanted to let you know what we are preparing to do.
Okay. So it's all just in the planning stages, nothing concrete just yet.
Right, it's going through the governance process. So first our department approves it, and then it goes to, the curriculum committee on the Senate, then to the Senate. So it is being proposed.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Great. Any other questions with regards to the programs that I discussed that may have, comes up in your world? And thank you for so much for all your advisement to our students. They need you now more than ever. So we really appreciate it. And I appreciate the communication that you have with the faculty and the chairs. I think that our ongoing communications, you're always looking out and for their best interests, and we really appreciate that very much.
One update I did want to just share about dance and when it comes to advisement. So for new dance majors, new students, usually freshmen or transfer, typically Aviva or Emily would like to see those students first. So if advisors, when new student enrollment kicks in and we start getting new student appointments, if you get a dance major on your calendar, let me know, or you could email directly, Professor Berry or Professor Geismar in regards to having that student get connected with them first, because they'll also have to be informed about placement, and the faculty advisors are the best to do that.
Great. Thank you, Will. Appreciate that, being very clear about the process. So terrific.
All right. Oh, here's a question. Do you see it in the chat? Okay.
Yes. So the courses are on the website. So if you go to the Health Related Science Academy, and you should see not only the courses, but a full description of the program as well. They should be there. I'm hoping that is the case. Well, last I checked, it was. So definitely go and check it out. I will check it out again to make sure that it is they are up there.
Yeah, I would too. Okay, I think we could, if there's no other questions, we could move on to public health.
Okay, terrific. So I'm going to let my colleagues, Dr. Srivastava start, and then I'll continue on.
Well, thank you, Dr. Salas, and I thank all the academy advisors and leads present over here. Thank you for this opportunity. As Dr. Salas mentioned, that we really appreciate the communication, and that's the best way moving forward to advise the students. So thank you so much. So we are seeking some program revisions as well as some course revisions in our public health program. And I will speak about the course revision, which is being initiated and proposed through the biology department, because this course is offered through the biology department, which is BI 522, Applied Biostatistics. So this course is in the list of the electives. However, for transferring to your college with, and we have articulation agreement with their BS in public health program, they require the students to come with this course, besides another course about which Dr. Salas is going to talk about. So Applied Biostatistics is a course that we have not been offering, and either students take it via e-permit at BMCC, or sometimes when students were not able to secure e-permit at BMCC, we requested the director at your college to allow our students, still accommodate them if they're fulfilling all the other admission requirements, to still allow that transfer, admit the students, and allow them to take the course in the first semester at York. The reason we were not able to offer this because of lack of enrollment. Now, so I think sometimes students till the very end did not realize that if they wanted to transfer to York, they should have taken this course as an elective. And now they have taken all other electives and they don't have this course. And so they did not enroll in the course. One more thing before I move on is that this course is scheduled in the program to be offered only in the spring semester. So, but now we have realized that at some point we had to start offering it because sometimes our students would not get into BMCC course because of the limitations in the number of seats available in that course. And at some point we have to bring this up. So we realized that there were some additional, there are 3 prerequisites for this course. And so we looked carefully at what if all the prerequisites were necessary for students to take or enroll in this course. And we realized that it is all right if they take only MA 336 statistics course as a prerequisite, and the other 2 courses, which is BI 503 epidemiology and HE 114. These 2 prerequisites can be eliminated to make it a more smoother process for our students to enroll in this. And even if they are, because now they were required to take epidemiology and HE 114 before, and if they've not taken, they wouldn't enroll and then they somehow would miss it. So after much deliberation, we are now in the process through governance to eliminate HE 114 and BI 503 epidemiology as prerequisites, keeping only MA 336 as a prerequisite for the course. And we are hoping that with this change, which everything should go fine from fall 2022, will allow our students to, allow them to enroll in this course. That being said, I would still say that I would like the advisors, and as much as I see the students, to still recommend them to take BI 503 if they can before this course, because BI 503 epidemiology is always offered in the fall. But in case they have not taken it, it should not stop them from enrolling this course, but it's highly recommended that they take epidemiology before they take biostatistics. And hopefully with increased enrollment, I mean, this spring when we offered the course, only one student registered in the course. And so we had to cancel offering the course. So we want to increase the enrollment, and also to those students who are seeking to transfer to York to have this, this discussion early on to make them realize that it is very important. However, it is already written in the transfer articulation, it's there on the website, but somehow students are missing enrolling in this course. So it's important to advise them right from the beginning about this course and the elimination of the prerequisites. So that is what I wanted to share from biology as with regards to public health. Thank you. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
And so I'll continue on about the other change. So our HE 202, Social and Behavioral Determinants of Health, is currently listed as an elective for the public health program, a majors elective. And we are now seeking to have it as a requirement. Very similar to BI 522 is that this is a requirement for students who wish to transfer to York. It's a very beneficial course for students continuing on in their public health degree and career. So we are in the process of proposing that HE 202 become a requirement. We will at this time continue to keep the prerequisite for HE 202, which is HE 114. So essentially, this is the only course that has an HE prerequisite. And so that really benefits our students because it can show that how they're building from one course to the next. So hopefully that will take place and be instituted for the fall. And in the meantime, of course, students who have already are in the program should not be limited to that new requirement, so that they may continue based on the old plan. So I have a question. Let's see. Oh, we're going back to the root. Okay, so again, you're very welcome, Ryan, for asking that question. So we're going back talking about the concentration. So again, this is all a proposal. It has not been yet approved. So I just want to reiterate that to you. It is for personal training, physical education, and exercise science. And the goal is for students to be better served by having the movement science as their major, or another liberal arts concentration if they so choose. Great, awesome. So just going back to public health. So I know that we talk a lot about high impact practices. You're all very well versed in high impact practices, which is awesome. And also, many of you may also know about IPE, or interprofessional education. This is something that is becoming very much an educational strategy or technique for students in particularly in healthcare fields. And we offer interprofessional education for students in the public health degree program as well, where they have an opportunity to, within their classes, participate in case studies with colleagues, fellow students from other CUNY campuses, and even within our own CUNY campus, to learn the different approaches to healthcare. So you may have someone who is a public health student, as well as there's other students who are nursing students, maybe occupational therapy students, and medical assistant students, and they can all work together as they would in a real life healthcare setting. So you should be hearing more about that if you haven't already, but I just wanted to just point that out, because HE 114 as well as 202 will have them be IPE classes. So thank you. And we'll take any questions if you have them.
So for the IEP classes,
IPP, yes.
I'm sorry,
Mhm.
IPD.
That's okay.
But so the credential, so they can earn credit. What is that, something that goes on their transcript, or is this kind of like a certificate professional development?
It is it is, you can think of it as, it's not an high impact practice. It's not one of the designated high impact practices, but it is similar in the sense that it is a teaching and learning strategy that is implemented in the class for the students.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions? Feel free to ask. We have extra time today. Everyone's been ahead of schedule, to say the least. So feel free to ask any questions. Now's the time.
Oh, I just wanted to add one more thing. So
Sure,
BI
go ahead.
20 Introduction to Public Health course that we offer in the fall and spring semester. There is a high demand for that course because this is also a general education pathway course. So, medical assistant students also take this course. So we may be offering this as a STEM course in this summer. So I know there was a lot of demand, especially from medical assistants and public health students, if we can have more sections. So we are offering it over this summer of 2022. So if the advisors, whether they're advising the students for medical assistance, public health, or in other programs, because it's a general education pathway course, they can advertise that they should be on the lookout for enrolling in this summer. And that is for BI 520 Introduction to Public Health course.
And I see there's a question in the chat as well.
Yes, that is correct. What has been asked is correct.
So if there are no further questions now, you can always feel free to reach out to us at any time that anything comes up, or you want some clarification on anything, or if you have any students that you need to consult with us about. I mean, we're here, we're available, we're more than happy to speak with you and meet with you. And so thank you.
I see a question. Is there still an articulation with Hunter? Oh, I think, that's a good question. Yes, we still have an articulation with Hunter College, but Hunter has revised their program name from BS in Community Health to BS in Public Health. So we have to update that articulation agreement. And we're just waiting for the program revision with the new proposal of moving HE 202 from electives to majors requirement be done. And so now, because we'll have to update that in our articulation agreement with all the three programs we currently articulate with, which is Hunter College's BS in Public Health program, then York's BS in Public Health program, and also Community Health program. And I just wanted to bring to your attention that on the website, under the Academy's website, HRS Academy, and Dr. Salis and I will reach out to make that correction. There's a switch. I mean, instead of community health, the program scheduling is shown for the public health and admission requirements for York College. And instead of BS in public health with York College requirements, it's showing for community health. So there is a little bit of error, and where the programs have been switched on the website for QCC. So that we will definitely, I just noticed this, so we have to reach out to get that corrected.
Yes, and so the other question is all the information on the website? Yeah, so the program description, its requirements, the articulation agreements, the basic information that all students and advisors should be on easily accessible on the website. And if anyone, and we will go and make that change that was noted. And if anyone has any, is not seeing something that they think that should be for students to view, then please, you feel free to let us know as well. Okay.
Do that.
So if there are no more questions,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes, thank you. We're keeping you still ahead of schedule.
Yes, you are. Thank you so
Awesome.
much. Much
Awesome.
appreciated.
Have a
And
great rest-
yeah, and yeah, I mean, a lot to take in. There's obviously it's a wait and see, but when that comes to fruition, I'm sure we'll meet again and talk a little bit more about it. So thanks for the heads up, and thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you.
Anytime. Take care, everyone.
All
Bye-bye.
right, take care.
Bye.
Next on the schedule is Professor Namdar, and he from Engineering Technology. He is going to be on in about 5 minutes, but I wanted to just let everyone know on Friday, the 4th, we're going to be having our student services training. And we'll have, we'll have financial aid, bursar. We're trying to get health services scheduled because they're going to have some updates regarding testing, COVID, vaccinations. So that's a lot of stuff that is going to be valuable. And career services, we're trying to make a big push for career services, present opportunities for students. I think that's important because so many are looking for work, so many are looking for the support to get them through commuting, things like that. And, so that's going to be important to know too, because that gives us an opportunity to, share resources with students that might need them. While I'm filling time, I'll give you an example. I have a student who was with me as part of the Black Male Initiative. He's one of my mentors, and he's having trouble with housing. He's in a shelter, and it's to the point where he is almost going to be out on the street. So it's important that we have resources like the Advocacy Resource Center. We're trying to get them on too, but there hasn't been that. But it's Emma Waddy's office, so you can always refer students to that office, and we're going to help this student with housing. So it's a lot of these students, we don't think about some of the circumstances that they go through day to day, whether it's housing, whether it's immigration, legal, and also the academic needs. So that's really important, and that's why we do the student services info session as well. So just going to wait a few minutes, take a breath, get another cup of coffee, and Dr. Namdar will be on in a few minutes. Okay, Dr. Namdar is joining us.
Yes.
Dr.
Hi,
Namdar,
everybody. How are you?
welcome.
How you doing?
Good, good.
Good.
Please proceed. We're ready to go.
Oh, you ready to go? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, so everybody here is an advisor to our students, STEM? This is all the advisors, right? Yes. So the ET department, as you know, we have 8 different programs. Starting, we have architecture, we have IIT, which is Internet Information Technology. We have CSS, Computer Science. This is the CSS, Computer Science and Security. This is a good program for students who want to go into computer science or security, computer security. They continue 2 years here, and then we have a agreement with John Jay, and then they move on to John Jay for their bachelor degree. Or they could actually go to any other college to continue on their computer science degree. And then we have the electrical, we have computer, we have mechanical, we have telecom, and we also have a certificate in IIT. So I'm here ready to, as you, I don't know if you have a copy of this degree maps that we usually send. I remember the last time I sent it to everybody. Do you still have that copy? For every degree, we have basically what they need to take every semester to continue, depend on what they are. William, do you know if they have that?
We have, I think we do. It's a little outdated. So if you have anything that's, Okay,
I will. Actually, we are in process of revising one of the programs, the IIT.
Okay.
So I could send that to you, and you could. I could send you all the degree maps, and you could distribute it as a soft copy.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be great, because we and any information you share on this call is also recorded as well. I know I sound like a customer service rep when I say that, but this call is recorded, but it is being recorded, and we will send out the link. So, any verbal information you share with us will be good too. I do have a question in regards to the computer science, if that's okay.
Yes.
So when you say computer science and information security, we do have students who typically maybe aren't interested in the security section of it. So when it comes just to a straight computer science, so would you recommend they just go on with the math and science degree and then complete, the math and the computer science track?
Yes, actually, the math department, the difference between theirs and ours is with ours, the math requirement is not as high as the computer science, the math department computer science degree. Now with them, also they have to take the first 2 years here and then move on to a 4-year degree college like Queens College, I think they have. So it depends on the student. Now also in our degree, we really, it's mostly, most of the security part, they learn in John Jay. We only have like one course that deals with the security section of it, but the most of it are computer science courses. They learn programming, they learn about computer architect, they learn everything they need to know, where they need to, what do they need to study in order to become a programmer. Okay? The security part, most of them they take at the, Let me see if I could, can I?
Yeah, you can share the screen.
Can I share the screen?
Yes,
Okay,
you have access.
Okay. Let me bring up our program here, and we'll show you what I mean by that. Program study. Okay. Okay, share screen. Okay, here we go. I think it's this one. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, yes. So, if you need any, I'm sure you know how to use this, go to program studies and then click on computer science information. So here's the detail. So if you look at this, depending on where they are in math courses, you have a different track here. But if you look at the program details here, okay. Well, I don't need to show you the general education requirement, but the major courses, as you can see here, start with the math class. They need the math 119, or if they moved out, or if they passed that, they could start with 440, 441, 442, depending on where they are. But these are the main courses. You see, the Linux they learn, Python, then C++, object-oriented programming, and then they learn about computer architects, networking, and then this is the computer network security. This is the only course that deals with the security. So, and then as you know, there's the general education courses that they need to take, and also this is the required course, and then we have some additional requirement, which is just 1 credit out of this. They usually take the 842 general, 1 credit here, and this just tells you how much you need. Okay, so these are the main courses that are taught at our department. The rest are general ed and English and other stuff, which is that. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. So that's one of the degree talking about. And as you go through here, as you can see from other programs that we have.
Yeah, if you could show us any updates or anything that might be.
Okay. The architecture, there's no really update. It's the same. We haven't changed anything on that. That's our department, architecture, technology. You could still see my screen, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the computer. If the students are interested in, now this computer, it's a little confusing. I know I have students come to me and say they go into these programs, for example, computer engineering technology. And then after the first semester, they're saying, oh, I want to become an engineer. Now, let me explain. I'm explain the difference between engineering and technology. Now, as you know, most of our programs are technology. With technology degree, you become technicians. You work with engineers. So now this is, when you get your AAS degree, you could start working. Most companies hire you as a technician to work with engineers. So if anybody wants to go into engineering, we have another program, the pre-engineering program, the engineering science. Okay, so if students they want to become technicians, computer technicians, you put them in this degree, computer engineering technology. So after 2 years, you could. Now looking at that, I don't know how much time do I have.
You've got time. 7 or 8 minutes.
Listen,
Take your time, please.
Okay.
We're ahead of schedule. It's okay.
Oh, okay, good. So, you go in here and they want to know more detail about what engineering technology. So, we are ABET accredited, meaning basically ABET is an organization that always comes and checks our program every 6 years, wants to make sure we're everything up to date, everything, to standard, to the industrial standard. So you look at the major core in computer engineering technology. The reason we call it, ABET requires us to call it computer engineering technology. So it's not just engineering, it's remotely technology. So with each of these courses, you see we have many different courses that they take to get them ready as a technician to work for companies. And we have almost 35, 40 credits in here. They only need to take 20, 21 credit in the general ed courses. The rest are in their major courses. So you can see from here, they take, all electronics courses, They take digital, they take microprocessor, they take some programming courses, and they also take some math courses, plus the networking course. So that's computer engineering technology. And same thing with electrical. We have, if they want more go into electronics, you could put them into electronic engineering technology. The main difference between those two is, this concentrates the computer technology concentrate more on digital electronics. So depending on what in old days, the electronics was more important before the digital came apart. So that's another program. Then we have our internet information technology. If the students are interested in, web design, creating, working for companies who take care of their web. Now a lot of stuff that are on web. So that's this degree. And actually, those degree maps that we talk about, degree plans, are also here. Well, actually, let's click on this one of these. This is no development, no placement. Let's try this one. Yes, you can also use this in, what to give them in first semester, second semester, third semester. These are also helpful. And you can see on this, they take a lot of courses in web development, learn how to create websites, different kind of advanced websites, Java programming, database. And you see from here, they also learn about networking, computer network security, they learn about security also. And then plus their regular general ed courses, okay? So that's that. Let's go back over here. And we also have a certificate for that also, where they could finish it up in 1 year if they just want to finish it up. And then we have the mechanical engineering technology. A lot of students, they want to study mechanical. So mechanical mainly means basically designing pieces of equipment. And this one, they learn a lot about different topics in mechanical, like the CAD system, just to show you what some of the major core courses here. They learn about manufacturing. In this one, they use the machinery we have downstairs to create pieces. And you can see a lot of courses on CAD. This is computer-aided design, strength of material, applied mechanics, computer applications. They learn about CNC machines. They use them and most of these courses that are with the technology courses, they have labs. So they learn hands-on experience. Besides the lecture, there's a lab with that too. So that's important to let them know that you're also actually doing things in the labs. And then we have telecommunication. We kind of redesigning this also with telecommunication. The enrollment in this degree are not much, but this used to be kind of very similar to our electronic engineering technology. We created this program for the Verizon employees that we did a couple of years ago. And we stopped that, but we still offering it to our regular students. So telecommunication, meaning, they learn about mobile technology, cell phones, how communication through the air is developed. So they learn about, they could work for companies like Verizon or any of these mobile company, AT&T and so on. Okay, now, if the students are interested in only to go, if they say, I want to study engineering. Now, usually with the engineering degree, we want, you have to be really a motivated student, a good student who's good in math. And let me find that, where is that? Engineering science, here it is, engineering science. They have to be really, because they take a lot of math courses in this degree. But if they want to become engineers, not just any kind of engineers. We're talking about electrical engineer, mechanical, chemical, computer engineers, So there's a lot of different kind of engineers. They need to go through this first 2 years here. Let me just open this up. And you see that it's called PEAS degree in engineering science. Here's a little description. Now look at the general ed courses. You usually have to take more courses here than the regular technology student. Now, for example, over here, besides the English and the math 441, they have to take a chemistry course that's required for engineering students. They have to take physics, calculus physics 1 and 2. This is physics A and physics B now. It used to be 411, 412, and 413. Now this is combined into these 2 courses. So you see, there's a lot of those science courses. Then when you go to the major requirement, we offer only 3 classes, and it's only 6 credit here. EE 101, EE 103, and 204, these are all engineering courses, EEs. But they still have to continue with their math courses. Look at this, calculus 2, calculus 3, and all the way up to differential equation, they have to take that. And then they take 1 course, depending on what they want to major in. They take 1 class over here, which is basically programming. They could take any of these programming courses. Also, they could take a physics course. Here, depends on what the engineering they're interested in. You say, okay, I want to be a chemical engineer. So you need to take chemistry courses, okay, if they want to become chemical engineer. Civil engineering, they have to take these courses. One of them is the MT course that we teach, linear algebra, thermodynamics. Electrical engineering, they have to take a couple of more electrical. Mechanical, more physics, and also some mechanical courses. So this is for students who want to become only engineers. And you have to tell them that, hey, this is the first 2 years. And the last 2 years, you got to find an engineering school like City College, NYIT. They go there, they have a lot of students go there. And other colleges, Stony Brook has a good engineering school. So they could transfer to any of those for engineering, other engineering degree. So this is our, basically all our programs. Can I answer? Let me stop sharing my thing. Any question from anybody?
Yeah, I had a student who was looking for tutoring in engineering. And after doing some research, I found out that the department offers tutoring. I think there's faculty tutors, right? And you guys work on a schedule. Okay. Because I know if we send them to, CTAS, these schools are, some of these courses are too specialized. So
but we have, we are doing the club hour from 12 to 2 in T13. We have usually we have myself, I'm there sometimes the other faculty are there. So if they need help, they could come in that T13 in the technology building with any question, and we could help them with that. And also we have a club that offers tutoring. Because of the pandemic, it's been kind of they've been lazy. They're not, students are not coming in. So that's another way. I have to see if we're running it this semester. If the students want to come into the office here, we have the room downstairs that the students could. But we don't usually. You're right. Engineers, it's hard to find, but we try to find somebody to tutor, and then. And any other tutoring, I know Perkins is offering tutoring through a Perkins grant. We also, we're getting ready to set that up also. Darling, if you talk the STEM Academy, and I know that Darling works with that, what's the other department that they offer tutoring and help to STEM people? That's another way to find tutors. Yes.
Great.
But if you find any specific students, you could email me Tell them to email me and I'll see if I can find them somebody to tutor, okay?
Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, just like email.
Sure.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
For the
Hi, Edna, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for asking.
Long time no see.
I'm telling you, I'm looking at you and I'm saying, my God, it's been a
Yeah,
while.
I'm in my office now.
Yes, yes. The question is with the CSS, is
Yes.
it still feasible to get the ET 580 as a last semester course?
Yeah. Well, it depends. You know, the ET 580, the prerequisite is ET 575.
That is correct.
Right. They could take it as soon as they finish that class. They don't
Okay.
need to go to the final. I mean, if they could take it the semester after, that's
yes.
fine.
Okay, I see what
I
you're
don't know
saying.
how you're saying on the curriculum map.
Yeah, I'm looking at an old flow chart.
Yeah, old flow chart. Let me just quickly look at that and I'll tell you. Maybe we may have changed it, but that was the CSS, right?
Uh-huh.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Information. Let's see, what does this say? Okay, this is, let's assume they're starting with a high math. Okay, easily. Yes, I see that. Okay, in first semester, they take the 574.
That is
That's
correct.
the Python course. Then
Yes.
after that, the second semester, they take 575.
Yes.
Actually, no, on this one, they could take it the third semester, 580.
Okay, yes, okay,
Okay.
I see.
Yes.
All right. Okay,
And
I
if,
just
you
wanted,
know, depends on where they are, right? But you
Okay.
notice that the prerequisite for the 575 is the math 440. Actually, no,
That is correct.
119 and 440. So that's
That
fine.
is
They can
correct.
take any of them.
Right, okay.
Yes.
All right,
Okay.
just wanted to be sure. Thank
Yeah.
you, nice talking to you, hope to
Nice
see you
talking to
soon.
you. Sure.
Okay.
Any other question? Okay, so I see in the chat somebody put a question. Is that a question or a comment? Okay, let's see, understanding that correctly, engineering tech major student can either be a technician in specific engineering, AS major, or they can be actual engineer. Yes, that's a good question, Kendra. So some of our good students in engineering technology, they move on to engineering. You know, they go and study engineering. Actually, I found out that Stony Brook, when they go apply for Stony Brook, not City College, but Stony Brook, for a good student who has, let's say, above 3 GPA, they accept all our courses towards their engineering school. You know, I would say most of them, you know, there might be one or two not. But the only requirement for them is that, you know, in our engineering, you know, the reason we have engineering technology is for the students who are struggling in math. You know, you know, in engineering, you have to go with math, you got to go all the way to differential equation and linear algebra. Those are very high math, besides calculus 1, calculus 2, and calculus 3. So in technology, you only have go to pre-calculus, which is the math 128. Now, when they go to Stony Brook, if they're good, if they want to go into engineering, they will accept all those courses that we offer them in electronics or computer technology, but they need to take those other math classes that you see in engineering science. They have to take those. But does that answer your question? Okay. Any other
Okay,
questions?
so we're running short on time, so I think any questions, please just email Dr. Namdar. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We do have to move on, and
Thank you.
have a okay.
Have a nice
Great.
day, everybody. Bye.
Take care now. All right, next we have is Dr. Burkout. Hi, Dr. Burkout. How are you?
Hello.
Sorry for the delay.
No, it's okay. That's okay. I'm here at my office doing work, so it's fine. So Well, music, I suppose, is always complicated, but there's really not too many new things going on. One thing I did notice is, they revamped websites, and for whatever reason, the links to our degree maps are not active and not labeled correctly. So I did notice that, and I'll work on that to get the degree maps up and running on our department website. But I don't think anything has really changed about our degree maps. So if you have an old degree map, that'll let you know exactly what they should be taking first, second, and third and fourths. But I'll be working to update that website and make sure that those degree maps are listed under the links they're supposed to be. So that's the first thing. Second thing, I know that, now that we're in the course dog and they've changed how you see or how students see the degree requirements, I just wanted to add a little bit of clarity to music production. They're, they have to take these musicianship classes, and and sometimes it's a combination of musicianship and theory classes. It all looks very complicated, but just actually I checked it and it is correct. There's many different combinations they can take. And so that we make sure that when their graduation comes, that the degree works recognizes they've taken the right combinations. There's a whole bunch of combinations listed, but don't really be scared by that. Most students entering the music production program should start in musicianship 1 and then can continue on to musicianship 2. So that by far is going to be the most common way in which our music production majors satisfy that requirement. But if they come in and they have some music experience and they test out of musicianship 1, they have a lot of other options. And that's where you see all of these different listings. Maybe they start with musicianship 2, and then they go on to take jazz theory 1. So that's a valid combination. And the reason they could do that is because they were able to place out of musicianship 1. Another possible combination is maybe they go right into musicianship 2, they place out of musicianship 1, and they want to continue their theory. Instead of going into music theory 1, which kind of repeats what they had in the musicianship classes, they'd go directly to music theory 2. So if they're in musicianship 2 at the start and then they want more theory, they go into theory 2. So all of these different kind of combinations, like I said, they really only apply to students who are able to test out of the first musicianship. Most are going to be in that first semester musicianship. And if you have a student who thinks they may be able to test out of it, just let us know and we'll give them a placement, and then they can choose a different pairing of theories. The only other thing about music production that's quirky is you do have to keep in mind that musicianship 1 and 2 is the equivalent of our MUS 121 Theory 1 class. So we put all our music majors who are studying an instrument in Theory 1, all of our music production and students go into musicianship 1. So we don't put our music production students into Theory 1, which is why when they take musicianship 2, they bypass Theory 1 and go right into Theory 2. So once you have that conceptual framework kind of there, advising them on their musicianship is not, and their theory shouldn't be that scary. But if you ever have any questions, just let me know and I'll happily answer them. For ensembles, we are offering in the fall percussion ensemble, pop choir, jazz ensemble, instrumental vocal ensemble, and we think it's going to be approved in time. We're going to be offering a new electronic music ensemble that is designed for music production majors who are in their final semesters. There's a couple of co-requisites with it: the piano keyboard skills, MUS 132, and the digital sequencing class, MP 102. This will be the first semester we offer it. We think it's a really exciting ensemble. They get to work with synthesizers and programming computers and making arrangements of known music, as well as creating their own music, working with electronic sounds. We think it'll be very, very exciting. So hopefully that will be on the books. If you're wondering about chorus, I thought about bringing chorus back this fall. I think I'm going to wait one more semester. I will bring chorus back in the spring. So for students who enter the degree program, the MUS degree program this fall semester, although they won't be able to take chorus in the fall, they should be able to honor the 2 semesters of consecutive chorus, because I will start offering chorus regularly again in the spring. Meanwhile, any student who has been in the program prior to this, I will be making substitutions for the music students who are in the degree program who needed 2 semesters of chorus. We haven't been offering chorus because of the pandemic. I will make necessary substitutions as long as they took an ensemble in its place. And really any ensemble will be fine. So that's the ensembles. You know, if you get anyone who's interested in music classes as a non-major, non-declared, I know it's a little bit complicated in the sense that usually those, unless they're liberal arts with, I think it's the humanities, free electives, most of our music classes don't satisfy pathways except for the MUS 101s and such like that. But always a good one is musicianship 1, you know, MUS 111. That's a good one for students who are not majors, but do want to improve or learn a little bit more about music theory. Any of the ensembles, with the exception of the electronic music ensemble, since that has specialized co-requisites, is good for them to do if they just want some music making. We'll also be offering class voice in the fall. So if they want to be able to work with singing and get better at it, classes like that are always a great recommendation for those students. And sometimes they get really excited by music and they join our program. So do, you know, if you sense the student may want a little bit of music as a non-major, those are some good classes to recommend for them. Remember with the lessons, lessons, although you can register them for the convocations, let me know what instrument the student is thinking about. And generally the department likes to register the students for the lessons so that I can control the studios. So I'll be doing that, but if you can keep a list of what students need what, that's helpful for me. In terms of our online versus in person, you'll see that we have a nice mix of our general pathway music courses. Some will be asynchronous online. We'll have some evening classes. We'll have some evening classes that are online synchronous, and we'll have a lot of in-person classes as well. Some are writing intensive, some are non-writing intensive. So we have a nice variety of those pathway courses to advise students into. In terms of our degree classes, all of our degree classes will have a in-person component, and most are completely in person. Anything with a lab is completely in person. Really, the only significant class that has a hybrid component is the music theory classes, which will be 50% online activities and 50% in-person activities, and those in-person activities are required. So students do need to be aware that they need to be on campus. So any music production or MUS major just needs to be aware that a huge amount of their music classes, if not all, are going to be in person. So it's very much an in-person degree. What was number 7? I don't see number 7, so I'll go on to, a couple of other things. We'll be offering music production MP 209 again this semester. That is a really great course for students looking for an elective in their last couple of semesters as music production majors. It goes into some of our more complicated recording techniques and uses a lot of our new fun equipment. So I would recommend MP 209 for music production majors who have the prerequisites and needs an elective. And even if they don't need the elective, it's a great class for them if they can take the extra credits. They're going to get a lot of really great up to the state of the art electronic recording techniques. The physics of sound class, PH 140, try and get as many students to register that as we can. This semester, it didn't run. And so we did a substitution for it, which was complicated and not as good as the PH 140. We may be running into low numbers again. So that's just a class that we're a little bit worried about, and I'm sure physics is as well. So PH 140, if the student needs that class and it fits in their schedule, they can take it. We are offering it. And then the only other question I think kind of that comes up a lot is the specialized history class for the music product or for the MUS majors, the music performance majors. MUS 241, that will only be, I think that's the one change from our degree maps, that will only be offered in the spring going from here on out. I think in the degree maps, it shows it being offered in the fall. We've decided that it's actually a better placement to offer it in the spring, where the students who take it have more chance to get even more theory. So that's the only real change from the degree maps that we need to make, is that MUS 241, the history of 18th and 19th century music, is now going to be regularly offered in the spring instead of fall. So if you have students who are in their third semester going, oh, I need to take the history course, let them know it's okay. It's going to be offered in the spring instead of the fall. So I think those are the big ones, but I'm certainly here to take any of your questions or to add any clarity on anything I just said.
I'd like to add, for the advisors, just a reminder that when it comes to the individual study, like Dr. Burkout said, in regards to picking an instrument for the music majors, they have to stay on sequence. They have to have 4 consecutive semesters of the individual study. If they don't, and they fall off, drop out, whatever, or readmit, come back, it's really problematic for them. And so for those students, we usually recommend maybe a change of major, because what will happen is that if they stay in that major, they're going to have to stay an extra 2 semesters or semester in order to complete the sequence. So did you want to add to that, Dr. Burkout?
Yeah, it's the lessons are sequenced like that, although if the student is doing well in the lessons, we will sometimes let them continue. It's really actually the theory program that gets them behind. If they, we like to keep their theory and their lessons in sequence, and the degree is structured to do that, although we will make exceptions in some cases. But if they don't pass theory 1, MUS 121, which is where anyone who comes and wants a music degree, MUS degree, they need to start in theory 1 unless they test out of it. But if they don't pass theory 1, that's not going to be offered again until next fall. And same with all of our theories. If they go into theory 2, but they don't pass in the spring, then it's not offered again until the spring. And so that's where I think they get a year off. And if that happens early in their degree program, particularly after theory 1, then they really should, if they're okay staying another year past what they were expecting, they can give it a try again. But they may want to consider a different degree because it will add their time. And absolutely, if they don't do well in theory 1 and don't pass their lessons, they probably a good candidate for really advising them out of the music program. They're just not ready for the kind of discipline, or maybe it wasn't as exciting as they thought it was going to be. But be aware, as Will was saying, that if they get behind like that, typically it's not something they can just make up in a single semester. They're going to have to wait a whole year before those classes come back in rotation. And it's a problem for them because they may lose the theory skills that they had developed. And, you know, sometimes what we may do is, particularly with theory 1, if they don't pass theory 1, we may recommend in the spring that they take a musicianship class if their financial aid allows that. Musicianship 1 or 2, depending on how far they made it in theory 1, just to keep those skills alive and not to atrophy, or if they were really having problems, just to get a little bit more time with that material. And then again, when fall comes again, try theory 1 again and see if it works. So I think that's, yeah, just be aware that students who don't do well in those first few semesters, they can keep going, but it's gonna add at least a year if they don't pass those first classes to their degree program if they want to continue.
Okay, good to know. Any questions? Okay. Well,
Alrighty.
I think it was pretty informative, clear and concise. I really appreciate it, Dr. Burkout, as always.
Thank you.
Obviously, any follow-ups you got? Oh, I think we
Oh,
have
here's
a
one.
question. Here we go.
I will offer the lessons in cases like that. I will offer the lessons as they need it. So in other words, if they take the lesson 1, lesson 2, they're doing well, they take a semester off and want to come back the next semester, they won't have to wait again for lessons 3. I will allow them to take the lessons 3, even if it's off the normal sequencing. It's going to be more of a problem with, again, their theory. They'll be off in their theory, and they may have done well in the first and second semester of theory, and they now need that third semester. The problem is that third semester isn't being offered in the spring. It's only offered in the fall. So the lessons in a circumstance like that, they can continue on with the lessons. And in fact, we may recommend it just so that they actually keep some momentum going. But they will have to be aware that they start the theory sequencing up again in the next semester. So that can be, that can be where the problem is. In that case, it would only add an additional semester because they've already taken one semester off, and then they have to wait a semester to get it resynced up. So lessons, we're a little more flexible if they're doing well. We'll work with the student. Theory, it's because of our course offering, we don't have enough students to offer each and every theory level every single semester. We would just never have enough to offer. We'd have to keep on canceling them. So we do it in sequence. Theory 1 and 3 in the fall, 2 and 4 in the spring, and the same with the ear training. The ear training is the other class that is sequenced like that. Ear training 3 is offered in the fall, and ear training 2 and 4 is offered in the spring. And that's it. So if they get off sequence, they got to wait to reset. I think that answered it. Okay.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, I think we're at the point where we want to close up for the day. If there's not any last questions, I think it's safe to say that we can call it a meeting. Thanks for attending. Again, the link for this recording will be sent out to everyone. Does take a while to download and compress because it's going to be at least a long file. So I'll get that out to everyone as soon as we can. And any materials or anything like that, in the meantime, you can go to the websites for the exact course information and program information. So thank you all. And the session's over. Have a great day.
Thank you.